Robbery, robbery, robbery. What the hell was that? Last night we had Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev, and it was a pretty incredible fight, but it hasn't come without controversy. Beterbiev won by majority decision, and to be fair, it was a really close fight. We went live for it, and the chat was split right down the middle, 50-50, who they thought was going to win the fight. And then when we were waiting for the scorecards to be read, it was still 50-50. This fight could have went either way, but what I do want to talk about in this video is the judging criteria, the scorecards. It's messed up. MMA judging can be pretty bad at the best of times, but the more boxing that I watch, and granted I am fairly new to boxing, the more mad decisions I see, with these huge differences between how each judge is scoring the fight. So the judges' scorecards, one judge scored it 114-114 for a draw, which I actually thought it was going to be a draw. And then another judge scored it 115-113 to Beterbiev, and then another judge scored it 116-112 to Beterbiev. How the hell is there that much disparity between the scorecards? And first off, before we go any deeper, and before people start disliking the video, it was an incredible fight. You could tell in this fight that it was the best fight and the best. It was a very technical fight, but there was also moments where they would brawl and they'd get a little bit wild. But I was so impressed with both fighters. They both adjusted multiple times throughout this fight. I picked Dmitry Bivol to win. I thought he might have got the split decision or maybe a draw, but I'm not too angry at Beterbiev winning. I think it could have went one of three ways, and I think that's why we're seeing such a difference in the scorecards. But let's take a look at the significant strikes. So Artur Beterbiev threw 1,000 punches, but he only landed 218. That means that Bivol defended 800 punches. 800 punches! Now, a factor that goes into the judging criteria for boxing is defense, effective defense. So are the judges going to just completely ignore the fact that Dmitry Bivol defended 800 punches? Now, granted, Artur Beterbiev did land 5 more punches than Dmitry Bivol across the entire fight. However, if we look at the bottom, high impact punches, Dmitry Bivol schooled Beterbiev, 48 high impact punches to 23. Over double the amount of power punches that Beterbiev landed, which is pretty crazy because everyone knows Beterbiev is the power puncher. Going into this fight, the amount of times I've seen people saying Bivol's going to get slept, Beterbiev's going to school Bivol. Hey, where are all those people now, eh? It was an incredibly close fight that could have been scored to Bivol, and Bivol landed more power punches. Now, I do have some critique to Bivol, obviously, because I know what I'm talking about, of course. It seems like he took the last few rounds off. I don't know why he did that. I think he was just thinking he was going to cruise to a decision victory. I don't think it was cardio issues, because he looked pretty fresh, but there was just moments in the last 3-4 rounds Bivol just decided to start backing up and keeping his hands high. And granted, he defended the majority of the shots that Beterbiev threw, and also a part of the judging criteria is effective aggression, and I think this is where you're getting the difference in the judging. You've got one judge who was scoring the effective aggression from Artur Beterbiev, even though he's not even landed 95% of the punches he's throwing, maybe even more. And then you've got another judge scoring the defense of Bivol. It just seems like the judging is a little bit all over the place. It's kind of like you got 3 judges looking at 3 different things. When I was watching this live, the last few rounds, I was looking very closely with a very close eagle eye. Beterbiev didn't land any of those punches in the last few rounds when he was doing these blitzes. Now, granted, it doesn't look good in the eyes of the judges when you're just like this, leaning back and going up against the ropes. You've got to expect it to be scored in the other fighter's favour. However, my point is, are you going to stick to your own judging criteria? Part of it is to score the defense, and it seems like they didn't do that. Artur Beterbiev had to throw 1,000 punches to land 200. Bivol threw just under 600 and landed 200, and of those 213 punches, almost 50 of them were power punches. So although the title might suggest that I'm angry at this decision, I'm not really angry at the decision. I didn't have too much buy-in. I just really like Bivol as a fighter, but a lot of credit goes out to Artur Beterbiev. He's 39 years old and he looked great in this fight. However, he couldn't get Bivol out there, and that's a testament to Bivol's boxing skills. And that's another thing. I went back and watched the Canelo fight, and we didn't really see the same aggression from Bivol that we seen in the Canelo fight that we did see in this Beterbiev fight. And I think maybe part of that was because Bivol wanted to sit back, wait for Beterbiev to come to him and focus on counters and combinations a bit more. He didn't want to push the action as much. However, when Bivol did press the action in this fight, he was getting the better of pretty much 9 out of 10 of the exchanges. He actually rocked Beterbiev at one point. Can't remember what round it was in, somewhere in the middle of the fight. So it's just a shame that Bivol didn't press the action a bit more. a couple times they got into some wild exchanges as well, where it was almost like a pub fight, a highly technical bar brawl, and it seemed like they were just fighting, just biting down on the mouthpiece and throwing, but in a very technical level. And Bivol was defending a lot of the shots that Beterbiev was throwing, and then catching Beterbiev and getting the better of those exchanges to the point where Beterbiev would actually disengage. Well, as I say, the judging, bit messed up. Bivol was right there. The win was ready for the taking. He just cruised in those last couple rounds, and he could have won it. Going into the 12th round, I think one of the commentators had scored it. Bivol 1 round up. A lot of people in my chat were saying it's going to be a draw. I was thinking maybe a draw, so we need to see the rematch, and I think Bivol takes him in the rematch. Anyway, what did you guys think of this scoring? Do you think it was messed up? 116 to 112 for Beterbiev. It was a little bit crazy, bit mad that. And then another judge scoring it a draw. How was there such a difference? Leave all your opinions down below. And we got Max Holloway and Ilya Topuria coming up in 2 weeks. Woo! That's going to be sick. Hey, nice one, boys. Like the video, subscribe for daily fighting content, and I'll see you tomorrow.